Hello, hello. Welcome back to another episode of A Dose of Sass. I am very excited for today's episode because we've got another Is It Diet Culture episode. If you haven't listened to one of these episodes before, I do them about once a month where I break down some popular trends, brands, activities you may or may not have participated in and tell you whether or not they are diet culture. And if your answer to that is like, well, it depends. Exactly. I have a lot to say about the things that we're going to discuss today, so let's just jump right in. First and foremost, a highly requested one is meal prepping. Meal prepping is one of those things that I think people either love or hate. You're either a meal prepper or you're not a meal prepper. And I also like to think that you're either a meal prepper or you're a failed meal prepper. I am a failed meal prepper. And let me tell you why. A lot of reasons, but let me tell you why. First and foremost, I can't stand to eat the same thing over and over again. Even when I was back in my diet days, like I struggled so hard with meal prepped meals because I can only eat a meal like one time in a row. Now, not to say that my current hyperfixation right now is the Habits chicken Caesar salad. I could eat that every single day, but not every single meal. And also, it would probably like 3 days in a row, I'd probably need a little bit of a break. So meal prepping like the same meal 5, 6 days a week, you've lost me entirely. I simply cannot do it. I hate leftovers for this reason. If we cook, me and my husband, just for the two of us, and we have leftovers, like my husband will be the one that eats them because one, I just feel like it's never reheated the same, especially restaurant leftovers. Like it just doesn't taste the same. And I'm so sensitive to like food texture changes. I can't do leftovers. So I don't like to eat the same thing in a row. The other thing is I don't like to cook. It's not something that I enjoy doing. It is a stressful activity for me. So the idea of cooking multiple meals in order to prepare them for the week, like immediate stress. And the payoff of like having ready-made meals is not worth the stress of cooking, in my opinion. I also never know what I want. If you're like me, and the question of like, what do you want for lunch or what do you want for dinner is just immediate alarm bells of, I don't know, but I'll know when I know. Like, I won't know until I know. I won't know until I see the thing. Or I need you to give me 17 options before I can figure out what sounds good. Like, what sounds good? The most difficult question in my brain. And so I understand that people use meal prepping as a way to eliminate making the decision about dinner. But if you're telling my only option is the meal I already made, like, I'm probably not going to want it, especially if I ate it the day before. And I know, like it's not practical. I'm annoyed. My husband hates that that I'm this way, but I have a feeling that I'm not the only one who's like this. So those are my reasons for not meal prepping, practically wise. Meal prepping itself, like a lot of things, I'm positive did not start as a diet activity. A lot of people use meal prepping to stick to their budget, to actually make sure they cook the food that they buy, to make sure you're eating consistent meals. And for that, I think it's fantastic. And if meal prepping works for you, you like to cook, you like to have prepared meals, you like to eat, you're able to eat the same thing multiple times, then go for it. Absolutely go for it. Unfortunately, like a lot of things, diet culture has, of course, gotten its claws into meal prepping and said, aha, this is a vehicle I can use. I would say that majority of people, at least probably majority of people listening to this podcast, hear the word meal prepping and it is synonymous with dieting. Like, if anything, that is how to diet. If you can just control your meals, control your portions, know exactly the calorie count of every single meal you're going to consume, then that is the key to success. And if you've only prepared chicken and broccoli or chicken and rice or whatever, then that's all you have. You know, don't have any junk food in the house. Only eat your meal prepped meals. Well, what happens if 3 days in, chicken and rice just doesn't sound good anymore? So you DoorDash Taco Bell, and now, shoot, you've broken your diet. Might as well throw it all down the drain. Order all your favorite foods. Have yourself a little binge. And then have yourself a little spiral. And then promise you won't do it next week. Not only have you wasted money on all the groceries you bought to meal prep, but then wasted money on all the junk food you bought because you didn't want to eat the groceries that you bought. And now you're going to do it all over again. Sound familiar? that is like, I'm convinced that that is like 60% of people's meal prepping experience. Maybe you're consistent for a week. Maybe you stick to your budget for a month. But meal prepping is just not a long-term solution, in my opinion. Now, I will say there are obvious exceptions to this. Everybody's different. If you like to meal prep, if you need to for your family, there are obvious benefits to meal prepping. But ever since I stopped dieting, I cannot bring myself to do it. Because as soon as I think about preparing a pre-portioned meal, the thoughts immediately go to, how many calories is in this? If I eat this consistently, maybe I'll lose a little bit of weight. Could this be a habit? What if I just make a little bit of a healthier meal prep? Maybe not all of them have to be healthy, but I'll spice it up and I'll throw a healthy one in there, and then maybe I'll really like it, and then maybe I could do that over and over again. We're not meant to eat the same thing every single day for the rest of our lives. In fact, it's healthiest for us to eat a variety of foods with a variety of nutritional densities. You could eat salad every day, but if that's all you're eating, you're not going to get all of the nutrients you need for your body. You could have chicken every single day, but if that's all you're eating, you're not going to get everything your body needs. So if meal prepping works for you on a practical basis, you're trying to stick to a budget, you're trying to cook the groceries that you bought, absolutely go for it. But if the idea of meal prepping starts to send you into a spiral of, I got to stick to this, or you're going to feel bad if you don't, or if you have a meal that's not one of your meal prepped meals and it's a little bit more unhealthy, quote unquote, is that going to make you spiral? Is that going to give you negative food thoughts? Because here's what happens is, and this is from my personal experience, here's what happens as soon as I incorporate like one small healthy habit that I wanted to be consistent about. If I start meal prepping, then I go, well, if I can stick to this, well, then what if I can stick to a workout plan? What if I can stick to cutting out sugar? What if I just try to eat less, whatever? These habits and these ideas tend to compound because my history, my disordered relationship with food over the years of my life, that is the automatic route that my brain goes down. And I hate that that's the way that it is. But in order to rewire that part of my brain and not go down that path of everything I eat needs to be monitored and every move I make needs to be tracked and every workout I do needs to be 30 minutes, like whatever. In order to not go down that path, I have to not incorporate these previously diet coded activities, diet coded habits. I don't think that me personally, Caitlin, can healthily, for my mental health and my relationship with food, meal prep without it sending me down a potential diet spiral. Now, if you can and you like to do it, absolutely go for it. I'm not going to make a blanket statement of, is meal prepping diet culture? Because it depends. It depends on your relationship with that thing. If you've never used meal prepping as a dieting thing and you want to see if it will help you be more practical and feed your family more consistent meals, try it. Go for it. I envy you if you don't have a diet past with meal prepping. But it depends. And that's the nature of these episodes. The is it diet culture theme of these episodes is it depends. It depends on your personal experience. But I'm going to challenge you to think about your relationship with these things. So let me talk about something that is meal prep adjacent that I've been doing in order to honor my relationship with food and pursue health at the same time. And that is making snack boxes. So if you follow me on Instagram, you've probably seen me post about these. I'm obsessed with them. I got these little snack boxes off of Amazon. They're just 4 little squares. They got a lid. They come in a pack of 4. They're dishwasher safe. And I've been putting in them basically an adult Lunchable. Fruits, vegetables, a little something sweet, and either like carbs, protein, fat. Usually the carbs don't fit. Like I'll do pretzels on the side or something, but they don't fit in the little box squares, so I leave them out. The main reason I started doing this is because I have a bad habit of buying fruits and vegetables and not eating them because they're not prepped. Like if I come home from the store and don't immediately like wash and cut my strawberries, like I won't eat them. I hate that, but it's true. So this started as a way of like, okay, if I have cut and ready strawberries, cut and ready cucumbers, ready to grab carrots, then I will actually eat them. And I'm not having to buy, actual snack bag sized pretzels. I know they have like apple slices and whatever, little kid sized bags. You could do that, but I've been putting them in a little box together. So I've got 4 little snacks as a way to actually eat the produce that I'm buying. It also is a way to actually consistently eat fruits and vegetables. So I am the kind of person, I like fruits and vegetables, but I don't always get them at every meal. And so this is a way for me to go, oh, they're right there. I'm hungry. Yes, I have the option between hot Cheetos or chips or fruit. What's the easier thing to grab, right? It's going to be the hot Cheetos. It's going to be the popcorn. It's going to be the whatever. And that's absolutely okay. I will still grab those things. But in the moment, I'm like, ooh, now that those are actually ready to grab, a cucumber and ranch sounds really good. And I'm grateful that I'm at a place in my relationship with food where I'm able to put all of those things on an equal level. I'm able to go, okay, cucumbers, carrots, strawberries, grapes, hot Cheetos, Oreos, chocolate covered almonds. Those are all my snack options, and none is better or worse than the other. Obviously, they have different nutritional facts, but that's not what I'm weighing here. I'm trying to figure out which one sounds good, which one's going to make me feel good right now. And the questions I ask myself in order to determine which one sounds good is, do I want something crunchy? Do I want something sweet? Do I want something flavorful and rich? Do I want something hot or cold or room temp? I'm no longer asking, "Ooh, should I have carbs? Should I have fruits? Should I have veggies? Should I have veggies over the hot Cheetos?" Because the shoulds come from diet culture. But if I'm trying to actually listen to my body and figure out what I want, then I'm able to go, ooh, cucumbers and ranch. That sounds really good. It's going to be crunchy. It's going to be fresh. It's got good flavor with the ranch. Checks the box. Now, if I eat cucumbers and ranch and then realize, ooh, now I want something a little bit spicy. I want something a little bit crunchy. I'm going to also have a bowl of hot Cheetos. And they don't cancel out the cucumbers. The cucumbers don't give me good person points for the day. They're just snacks. And what I like about having the 4 snack boxes prepped and ready to go, so I do these at the beginning of the week in order to prep my fruits and veggies, is it's helping eliminate my decision fatigue when I go to grab something. I am notorious for getting too hungry and then I'm unable to make a decision about what I want to eat because I'm too hungry. And so I end up grabbing something to curb the hunger so that I can make a decision, and it's going to be something that's easy to grab, like chips, hot Cheetos, popcorn, etc. So having the snack boxes allows me to go, okay, this is an easy to grab thing to eat, curb my hunger. This also will help tell me what I actually want for a meal. I don't think that a little bit of strawberries, a little bit of cucumbers, a little bit of cheese, and a little bit of peanuts is enough of a meal, at least for me. These boxes are small, but it's enough for me to either, like, if I'm having it in between meal times, it's a nice little snack, or it's enough as of an appetizer of me to figure out what I actually want for lunch. And what's fun about these boxes is because all 4 items in there are morally neutral in my brain, I'm able to go, ooh, there was only like 5 carrots in here, and those actually really hit the spot. I'm going to grab some more. Or, ooh, I actually don't think I want the strawberries today because I had some with my breakfast, so I'm going to grab some grapes from the fridge instead. Or actually, chocolate covered almonds don't really sound very good. I'm not going to have any of those. I'm just going to eat the rest of the things. And that's okay too. It's helping me be aware and listen to my body. It's helping me eat more fruits and vegetables consistently because that's a goal I have for myself. And I look forward to these boxes like every day. I've been having one about like 11 o'clock every day, which is about the time of day where I start to get hungry. My brain, because of my like long history of dieting and disordered eating, likes to tell me that I can't eat till noon, especially because I used to work a corporate job and like that's every day when I would take my lunch break. So I need to hold off for another hour. I can't have lunch yet. So at 11, I have my snack boxes, and then I'm not too hungry at lunch to actually make a lunch and have a full meal that's going to last me longer and carry on with my day. So they're meal prep adjacent, but it's not rooted in the fact of like, I have to eat this meal because it's the healthiest, cheapest, easiest thing, and I've got 4 of them, so I got to make my way through these. It's giving me snack options. It's ready to go grabbable stuff, and my brain is just able to view them differently. So that's what I'm doing instead of meal prepping, you could say. The second thing I want to talk about in today's Is It Diet Culture episode is habit tracking. So I shared a while back on my Instagram stories that I was looking for a new habit tracking app to use, and a lot of people recommended this one called, oh gosh, Finch. That's what it's called. And it's really cute. It's more self-care related. Every time you like complete a little task, it like feeds your little bird. It's adorable. I opened it up and was like a little bit overwhelmed by all of the features. I was looking for something a little bit more like clean and straightforward. And so I started using this app called Done. You type in all your habits, like drinking water, making your bed, taking your vitamins, things like that. And you, when you check them off, whether you want to do it like 1 time a day, 3 times a day, every time you click done, it like moves this little colored bar across one. So 1, it'll move a little bit, 2, it'll move a little bit, 3, then it'll be complete. Each of the habits has a different color, and it will track like your weekly and your monthly completion rate for these things. So if you're trying to track how often do I floss, and maybe you're aiming to floss every day, you can see, oh, over the last week, I actually only flossed on Tuesdays and Wednesdays, whatever. So I liked this app for that. And I want to talk through some of the things that I'm tracking and kind of how it's been affecting my mental health and my relationship with food and body. I used to just track things in the reminders app on my phone, on my iPhone, and that was fine, but I didn't necessarily want a reminder for all of these things throughout the day because, as you'll notice in a second when I talk through the habits that I'm actually tracking, not all of these things necessarily have to be accomplished every day. It's more of a list for me to realize how often am I doing these things and am I noticing a difference because of it. So, habits that I'm tracking: drinking water, eating fruits, eating vegetables, eating 3 meals a day, spending time with Jesus. I'm having my little quiet time in the morning, reading my Bible, reading in general, walking my dog, using my walking pad, moving my body, taking a nap, lizard time, which is basically have I gotten out and sat in the sun for like 5 minutes? Because if you haven't gone outside and photosynthesized, sat in the sun like a lizard, life-changing behavior. Just for like, it's amazing how just for like a couple minutes sitting in the sun can totally improve your mood. Anyway, that's one of the things I was curious about tracking. And I also have on there my bowel movements. I've got poop on there as a habit that I'm currently trying to track. And here's the thing is not all of those things need to be completed every day. I don't need to walk my dog and use my walking pad and do a workout and take a nap all in the same day. I'm just curious if on the days that I use my walking pad, am I also needing to take a nap? On the days that I'm drinking enough water, am I having more frequent bowel movements? These are like, I'm literally like body curious at this stage of my life. And that's what I want to use these habits to do. So most of these are not going to get checked off during the day. Drinking water, eating fruits and vegetables, and eating 3 meals a day. Oh, and taking my vitamins. That's another, I forgot about that one. Those are the things that I do want to do every day. And the nice thing about this app is there's no like warning at 10 p.m. Uh-oh, you haven't drank your gallon of water today. Better get on that. Like, I feel like the Apple Watch, it'll tell you like, uh-oh, you got to stand, or you can still do it. Go for a 10-minute walk. And I'm like, shut up. Like, leave me alone. You don't know what my day looked like. That's how I feel about my Apple Watch. But with this app, it's just like a to-do list. And if I get to it, I get to it. But I also, at the same time, because I love to write things down and I love to cross them off, it has been motivating me to do these activities. I like to take my vitamins every day because I like to check the little box and fill the little yellow bar and it to say like, good job. That's motivating for me. If you have another way of tracking it, I know a lot of people suggested to me actually bullet journaling. I love people who bullet journal. I went through a phase of trying to do it when I was in college. I think it's so fun to like create all the little beautiful pages and different colored markers to track your mood and your water and all this kind of stuff. And if you can keep up with a bullet journal, I have so much respect for you. But I cannot do it. I last like maybe a month with a bullet journal. And because here's the thing is I always would buy these journals, and if I made one single mistake, I wanted to like throw the entire journal away. If I messed up one day, one label, one whatever. I'm such a perfectionist that I was like, screw it, throw the whole journal in the trash. I didn't. Don't worry. But I was more concerned about having a perfect bullet journal than I was about like the actual habit tracking. So whether you do this in a physical planner or on an app, whatever. But it's been a really fun way for me to be curious about my habits. But let me tell you what else has happened. So a couple of the habits that I have on here is eating fruits, eating vegetables, eating 3 meals a day. Eating 3 meals a day is one that is surprisingly difficult for me. I pretty much always eat dinner, but I'm notorious for like eating small amounts of food throughout the day to avoid eating an actual meal. Now, I know some people eat like 5 small meals a day. Great. But these are not 5 small meals. This is like me waking up and being super hungry, so I'm just gonna grab something really fast, I'm gonna make a piece of toast, and then that's gonna be great. And then that curbs my immediate hunger. And so I tell my brain, okay, you had breakfast, even though I know that a single piece of toast is not enough breakfast. So I get to 10, 11 a.m., and then I'm starving again because my body's finally processed that single piece of toast I had. But then my brain tells me, it's not lunchtime. You can't eat a full meal right now, even though you're definitely hungry enough for one. So why don't you just have a small little snack? Why don't you have a little yogurt? Why don't you have a little apple? Whatever. Have a bag of popcorn. And then that holds me over for a little bit. And then I get cranking on some work and I look up and it's 1, 2 o'clock and I go, well, it's past lunchtime. I better wait till dinner. So let me just figure out something that's going to hold me over till dinner. And then lo and behold, I've had one single meal and small bits of food throughout the day. And I don't feel very good. I have a headache. I'm irritable. I probably need a nap. I haven't drank enough water. Like all of these things compound that my goal is to eat 3 actual meals a day. Sit down and have protein, carbs, and fat for breakfast. Sit down and have protein, carbs, and fat for lunch. Or at least something that like constitutes an actual meal. And I'm shocked every single day. Here's the thing. It's every single day that I actually eat 3 full meals and probably snacks between. I feel so much better at the end of my day. And it's like shocking information. I'm like, whoa, it's crazy how just like eating enough makes me feel good. I didn't have a headache today. I actually had energy in the afternoon. I wasn't angry when my husband came home from work because I hadn't eaten enough today. Like, I know that I feel better, but I am constantly fighting my brain that says like, look out, watch out, gotta watch what you eat, gotta watch your weight, don't eat that, don't eat this. So it's a constant battle. So my goal is to eat 3 meals a day. I'm also trying to just be aware of my fruit and vegetable intake. As I said earlier in the episode, I don't do a really good job at eating fruits and veggies with meals. So that's why I started using the snack boxes. And my goal is to eat at least 2 fruits and 2 vegetables a day. It doesn't have to be 2 different fruits and 2 different vegetables, just 2 servings of each. So maybe I have a little bit of fruit with breakfast, a little bit of fruit with dinner, a little bit of fruit after dinner, or whatever. That's my goal for the day. And I was feeling pretty good about that. And then I decided to add another habit. And here's where I started to get a little sticky. I started to track my protein. If you have been on the internet any time in the last couple of years, people are going crazy over protein right now. There is the general rule of you should eat, I think, what is it, a little over a gram of protein per pound of body fat or something. And I'm like, whoa, that's a lot. It's per 2 pounds of body fat. I don't know. There's a lot of information out there. And I know that like if I have protein with meals, I know that I feel better. Like if I have chicken or steak or whatever. So out of curiosity, I'm in my body curious stage at the moment. Out of curiosity, I wanted to know how much protein I was actually getting in my day. So I set myself a goal of like 50 grams, just as like a marker of like, am I hitting that? Am I not? Am I going way over? I don't know. I had no concept of how much protein I was getting in my day. And here's the thing about me is back in my diet days, I never actually went through a steep like calorie tracking phase. That's something else I'm going to talk about in today's episode, so stay tuned. But I don't have a general I know that people who have spent a long time like macro tracking, calorie tracking can remember those numbers off the top of their head pretty well. I have no idea. I didn't go through meticulously tracking those things for a long time. So I set myself a goal just because I was curious how much protein I was getting. And I started monitoring this without any kind of goal of increasing my protein intake. So I wasn't setting myself up for failure if I didn't hit it. I was just curious. And I think that that's a really great place to be. But I noticed after like a few weeks of tracking this that my thoughts started to spiral just a little bit. It didn't take very long. But I started to, when I was looking up, how much protein does my Chipotle bowl have? Let me do their little cute little nutrition calculator online. I started to look at the other numbers. It doesn't just give you protein, it'll give you the carbs, it'll give you the fat, it'll give you the whatever. And those little numbers started to burrow themselves in my brain, and my brain started to go, whoa, yeah, that's a lot of protein, but also look at the thing. Look at those other numbers. And something that I wasn't previously aware of, I wasn't ever tracking how many carbs I ate, how many fats I ate throughout my day. But because I started looking up protein intake of the meals I was having, how much protein do 2 scrambled eggs have? How much protein do 2 cheese sticks have? I started to realize that the knowledge of these numbers was adding a little bit of stress to my brain, because instead of being able to listen to my body and go, ooh, popcorn as a snack sounds really good right now, I started to go, ooh, is there a way I can add protein to popcorn? Ooh, should I pick a snack that has more protein? And I'm not demonizing protein here. Protein's good for you. Everyone needs to eat protein. But it just started to inhibit my ability to make intuitive decisions. I was no longer eating what my body sounded like eating. I was worried about how much protein I was having. And that's when I started to go, maybe this is not a habit I need to be tracking. I think there's a healthy awareness of whether or not I've had protein with meals and adding it in when I can, but there is no need for me to have every snack, every meal, every dessert be protein packed to hit some arbitrary number. Also, protein goals are very personal and very specific to every individual. So somebody's TikTok video that says you should have 1 gram of protein for every pound of body fat is too blanket of a statement. And it's not worth adding that kind of pressure to my life because it's interfering with my relationship with food. It is more important for me to listen to my body and have a healthy relationship with food than it is for me to hit exactly my perfect little protein goals for the day. Because that's not realistic either. As we've talked through this episode, I don't like to eat the same thing every single day. I like variety. You should have variety. It's not realistic to expect that you're going to hit the same amount of protein and carbs and fat every single day. Or should. That's the whole point. You don't need to be worrying so hard about these specific numbers. Also, I'm going to plug this in the show notes. Go listen to Maintenance Phase's episode on calories, because what are they anyway? That's what I want you to explore. They're not as serious as you think they are. So I started tracking my protein, and I only after a little bit did I realize, I don't like this. I don't like the way it's messing with my brain, and I took that habit off. And I feel a lot better since. So the rest of the habits that I track, moving my body, and here's the thing about it too, is I'm not tracking, have I moved my body for 30 minutes today? I'm not putting a bunch of different types of workouts on there. I'm just saying, did I move my body today? That can mean so many things. Did I vacuum my whole house? Did I walk my dog? Did I get on my walking pad? Did I take a dance class? Did I go to softball? Like, all of those fall under the realm of moving my body. And so having that be the habit instead of have I worked out for 30 minutes today takes the pressure off. And I don't need to read, walk my dog, use my walking pad, take a nap. In fact, I'm actually trying to take less naps because I'm really good at napping. I also use napping as a procrastination method. So I'm trying to monitor if I've eaten 3 meals a day, drank enough water, had some fruits and vegetables, gotten outside, do I still feel like I need to take a nap? Do all of those things mean more frequent bowel movements? Does my increase of fruits and vegetables have an impact on my energy? Like, those are the things that I'm tracking. So if you're able to do that, then and you like to do that and you're curious about it, then yeah, give habit tracking a try. Is it diet culture? No, not on its surface, but be aware of your relationship with these things. What kind of habits are you tracking? Is there guilt for not completing them? Are they causing you to want to restrict certain things because of it? That's what you want to be aware of. Now, let me talk about something close but different, that is very much diet culture, and that's like any kind of food tracking. Using MyFitnessPal, calorie tracking, macro tracking, these very much fall under the umbrella of diet culture because they are in pursuit of body goals. There's no reason why you need to track your calorie intake if you're not like on some kind of weight loss journey. It's not helpful information to know how many grams of carbs you've had today if you're not trying to like lose fat or gain muscle. And if you're listening to this podcast, I hope you know that there are bigger goals and more important things than losing fat and gaining muscle. Incorporating healthy habits like eating more fruits and vegetables, moving your body more frequently, drinking enough water, getting enough sleep, spending more time off your phone. Those are healthy habits that are good for you no matter what happens to your body, no matter if you lose weight, gain weight. So focus on tracking those kinds of things instead of how many calories does this burger have. Because here's the thing is, I don't know anybody. Because here's the thing, for most people, looking at the number of calories is gonna signal something to your brain. We all have automatic thoughts that are gonna occur when we see the number of calories on something, good or bad. Ooh, that's more than I thought. Ooh, that's less than I thought. Ooh, should I really have that? When 2 seconds ago, you didn't know the calorie intake, and you were just focused on that sounds really good. That tastes really good. But now, shame enters the conversation, guilt enters the conversation, remorse, stress. And let me tell you another little fun fact, stress is more harmful for your body than anything you could be eating. Stress on your body is like the highest health risk. So don't worry about the numbers and focus on the habits. Delete MyFitnessPal. Get rid of your food scale. Stop logging every single thing you eat. Because I know that you've convinced yourself that, oh, I'm just curious. Like I said with tracking my protein, I'm just curious. It starts as that. But how quickly does it turn into, ooh, I tend to have that every single day. Maybe I shouldn't. Who's telling you that? Diet culture. Diet culture creeps in so sneakily and so quickly, you won't even notice until you start realizing, ooh, maybe I don't want to log that. That's something I'm guilty about eating. I'm not going to write that one down. Then it gets secretive. Then it gets shameful. These are not emotions that belong in your relationship with food. Okay? Food tracking. Yes, it's diet culture. We don't need to do it. Focus on the habits. Okay, those are the two main things that I wanted to touch on today. They're closely related. I have some recent experience with them. I'm going to drop in the show notes the app that I'm using for habit tracking if you're curious, and I'm going to drop in the link for the snack boxes that I've been using. If you like this episode, please rate and leave a review and share it with a friend. And don't forget that on my Instagram stories, I will be putting up a question box for the next Is It Diet Culture episode where you can drop your suggestions on things you want me to cover. And until then, I love you so much. I'll talk to you soon.